Yes, it has the same too. So let people come in. Nah, he doesn't even have to let people come in. People just show up because he's KS is the man.
Welcome, welcome.
Ha 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 ha. Let me out you. Let me out you. Could never get it like that dude gets it in. Like that guy. Like holla holla holla. Let me holla. Let me holla you. Let me holla you. Holla holla holla. It's a beautiful rainy birthday now.
Cheers to the birthday man. We got some things to watch in a little while, but we're gonna preface this first.
There we go. Hello, whoever you are that are here.
Welcome.
Hello, whoever this is that's here as well. What is up? Yeah. Put the hearts up, emojis, everything. How are you doing today? Share in the comments below. Thank you. Thank you, Sheeta. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Hey. Such amazing soul. I love her so much. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's interesting to start off with the birthday. What you brought awareness to, what you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Say it. Say it in your way. I can't even say how you said it.
Say
the
what?
way you said it was profound about the birthday.
Oh, I was saying that it's not only your birthday. Well, it's your born day. It's your mom's birthday. She was giving birth on this day.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Shout out to your mom.
Yeah. Yeah. Never I said. I was like, instead of saying like happy birthday, moving forward, say happy debut outside of your mother's vagina.
Right.
So why are we here? We're definitely going to share this video that we came across. We haven't even took a look at this yet, but we're going to look at it together. But the theme of this month is mental health awareness.
Yes.
Mental health is definitely a viable tool and a viable thing to be in relation with, because the mental health to me is a relationship with yourself. If you're not healthy inside, the outer world is not going to be so healthy. What are your thoughts?
It's like what we're saying with Cat Williams. Well, he's like, self-esteem is about yourself. Where sometimes people think that self-esteem has to do with their environment or has to do with the people that they're around. When we're talking about mental health, the key word there is health.
Not mental?
I mean, we all have our mental states, our mental capacities, our own like vibes going on, but is it healthy? It could be comfortable, but it may not be healthy.
But even healthy, I feel like there's infinite definitions for that, because what's healthy for one person may not be so healthy. But then there could potentially be an illusion that this thing is healthy, but it's not serving you, but you feel like it may be serving you.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love about the title of what they say, Mental Health Awareness Month. The word that sticks out to me in the whole thing is awareness. So awareness to your mental health, awareness to yourself. How much do you really become aware of yourself and what you do, and start to get an understanding on why you do the things that you do? Even awareness to the stuff you have done, and understanding once again why you do the things that you do. So like I mentioned, we're going to put this video up. We're going to watch it together with Ekhart Tolle, in which someone asked him a question about mental illness. And our title too, we said about spirituality, mental health, or what was it?
Ekhart Tolle's view of mental health and spirituality.
There we go. So there's a lot of teachings out there from on a psychological standpoint from the mind. And they're great tools because the mind can be trained a certain way. And the mind is trained with us. And my belief is the mental state of us in this moment is the information we have taken up to this moment, whether it was good, whether it's bad. We get feedback from our environment and our life, and also our surroundings and upbringings in our environment with our family, our friends, interactions, but more importantly, the environment that we get raised upon, because that is one of the core foundations for how we are the way that we are. It may be illusions leading up from all these other experiences that we are the way that we are because of this situation or that. It plays a role, but the most important thing is going down to the foundation of why you are the way that you are and be able to bring awareness and be able to take a look at that. So I'm just saying this. I don't even know what Ekhart Tolle is going to say, but I'm excited to see because he always speaks some deep, curious stuff.
True. The intention is let's pause and chat in between, when we pop up on some profound things.
Exactly.
All right. Here we go.
Get the popcorn ready.
Oh, wait. Let me just share this again. Hold on, everybody.
Don't worry, I got you. La 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 da 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 da. Ba, da, ba. La, da, da. What was that video? Friday then and Saturday, Sunday then, and Friday then and Saturday, Sunday.
I don't know if we can hear the audio, is what I was trying to say, but let's see. We'll give it a whirl. And Steven, let us know if you can hear the audio. Oh, he said happy birthday too. Awesome. Here we go.
Holy wow. Hi. My name is Alexis. I wanted to ask you a question. Last year I went to your retreat at Omega. So I guess I've been hanging on to this question for a while.
Awesome.
First of all, your book, Power of Now, it saved my life. So thank you. I was planning on committing suicide until I read it. I have a severe mental illness, type 1 bipolar disorder. I've suffered from it since I was 15. And I've only just started getting treatment. So I'm medicated now, I guess. And even though suffering from bipolar unmedicated was hellish, there was a certain component of presence to it in its own way, just that intensity of emotion and feeling all the time. And I've just really been struggling since being on medication with accessing that same sort of abruptness of being. And I know that I don't really have a choice because otherwise I'll be hallucinating and things, but I don't know. I was wondering if you might offer any insight.
When did you so your medication for quite a while?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess I was untreated for 7 years before.
And then the point was reached where you did need it?
No, then until when I did need it or didn't need it?
Yes, how long have you been on medication?
Only a few months actually, I guess, coming up on a year.
What was the reason for going on medication?
I fell in love and I realized that I couldn't be sick and also be present for my partner.
Right. So bipolar is what your condition.
Yes, type 1 bipolar.
Yeah. I've only had some contact with perhaps milder cases, I don't know, of bipolar disorder. Often the
Okay, I want to stop there because that's pretty deep already. That she said that she went on medication, so she changed her state of her health because she wanted to be present for her partner. Like, that's big. She introduced other chemicals into her body for another person. I think that's a really big decision. I mean, people do it all the time with like birth control, and stuff like that, but that's a really big decision. One of the things that I always wondered is, like, if a person goes on medication, are they still who they really are? Or are they actually altering who they are, by making that choice? And yeah, that's big. That's dedication to one relationship. Do you think that she's sacrificing her relationship with herself, or that she is enhancing it, modifying it?
Can I share? Can I share my perspective? Or
That's what I'm asking.
share
Your
what
perspective.
Yeah. And this is just my perspective. I don't know if it's true or not because I haven't had a conversation with this person live. But what I was getting from that is I don't want to show this person how I am in this moment. I want to mask how I really am so that way this relationship can work. Because I feel if I show up how I am, the relationship is not going to work. And also, I want to stop what's going on with me so that way I can fully be here to give this person the attention. That's like deep, like you mentioned. Like, how many times have we shut ourselves down and stopped ourselves, or even put on like a persona so that way we can potentially please another person or be here with this person? Like, oh, I want you to accept me, so let me do everything that I can possibly, even if I have to suppress myself and mask myself and put this band-aid on so that way you don't see me for who I am and you will potentially be with me. And whoever's listening as well, for those of you who watch this video, share your thoughts. What do you think? What do you think about that moment what we just shared or the moment of what she just shared of her taking those medications because she's got into a relationship and she wanted to be more present with her partner, and so she decided to take this medication for her bipolar disorder. What are your thoughts?
All right. I'm going to go back to the video.
Okay.
There we go.
Can you explain just very briefly, maybe in just a couple of sentences, what exactly you experience when the condition arises? How do you...
So sufferers of bipolar usually experience two different types of phases,
Yes.
manic phase and a depressive phase.
Yes.
People often confuse it with like a multiple personality disorder, but it's actually quite different. You're the same person, but just sometimes you can't move or get out of bed or do anything, and sometimes you can't sleep for days on end, and you are seeing things that aren't there and hallucinating and running around. Like, so it's
you do strange things then.
yes. Yeah. So and you can't, when you're in one state, you can't ever remember the other. So when you are depressed, it seems like you're going to feel that way forever, but then it could be 2 days from then you are back up and manic. So there are many kinds of bipolar disorder, but I suffer from a rapid cycle type, which means that I have like 4 to 6 times more cycles than the average person.
with the milder forms of bipolar, it's sometimes possible for people to remain aware in both the cycles when they come, so that you don't get taken over completely by the cycles, so that an awareness remains, so that you're not totally identified with the energy that arises. I don't know, are you able to be present with the medication?
Yeah, I think that it provides me, it gives me a bit more space to reflect on when I am actually in a cycle, but it's very dulling. So being present doesn't have that sort of joy. It takes much longer to look at something. I mean, I used to be able to just like sit next to trees and have conversations with them, and it was wonderful. And now that, I'm getting used to it, but it's more difficult.
Yes. Well, do you have a meditation practice?
I try.
Yeah. I think it would be good for you to have a practice of formal meditation every day that could eventually replace the medication. But you have to be very careful, of course, and get some professional help. Hopefully, a physician who has some awareness of the deeper dimension, who can help you to gradually get off medication. And I believe that a structured meditation, which is not for everybody, I don't necessarily recommend structured meditation for everybody. It's a wonderful thing for those who feel compelled, who feel they want to do it. But I think for you it is a necessity, and that could provide the support in consciousness that you need to eventually become free of medication. What type of meditation you may have to try out one or two meditation methods. I don't know if you already have done that. Perhaps transcendental meditation might be good for you.
Okay, I'm going to pause there because, again, they said something that is really interesting. And that is that immediately Eckhart's like that he goes straight to how she can wean off of the medication. Like he didn't say anything about, like maintaining it. He immediately was like, oh, meditation is something that you can, explore. And then he's like, okay, because like this can help you wean off of the medication. So we can see that he's kind of like steering in that direction. And that's really curious to me.
Oh, this is good. So I want to ask a question back for this one.
Okay. That's really curious to me because I've heard people say, well, the medication is because I have a chemical imbalance, and that chemical imbalance is being helped by the medication. So this is actually helping me to be normal. But Ekhart refers to the bipolar not as illness, but as energy. He says, when this energy arises, do you identify with it? So let's go ahead and read Jeff's comment. Thank you so much for commenting. It says, hey guys, I'm diagnosed bipolar. And when I was on psychoactive antidepressant, it pulled me completely out of my presence. I found my way back to myself through tantric yoga and fully embracing my delusions of grandeur as the providence to my spirituality.
Amazing, amazing. And I definitely want to piggyback off of that and ask a question back to Jeff, but I'm just talking about that of like medication. And Jeff, just correct me if I'm wrong or not, but it seemed like for the medication, it was suppressing you from being present for what is happening in the moment. And what you did, like you said, you started doing tantric and doing like this spiritual practice. It actually enabled you to get more present with yourself and present in the moment, and also be able to work through what you needed to work through. And my question to you is, from that tantric and you started to fully embrace yourself and embrace the delusion, were you able to no longer take the medications, the antidepressants, or are you still on it but you're slowly getting off of it? Feel free to answer that question, but I'm definitely curious to see like what happens when you get diagnosed, you start to get the medication, but then you start doing a spiritual practice. Does it slowly like shift to more to the spiritual practice compared to the medication? Or was like a moment like, all right, I'm done. I don't need this anymore. I'm really going to just allow myself to be with myself and work through this.
That's huge. That's huge. Thank you so much for sharing. Jeff, feel free to comment, and we're gonna hop back into the video for a minute or two.
Yeah, let's hop back in.
Oh, there we go.
Wow. Amazing. There's something, it's something about the meditation that's very, very potent, and it shows that it could potentially be. Of course, there are some situations in which it's very intense with what they're dealing with, the emotions and things, that they need some type of suppressant to bring it down a little bit. But it seems like this meditation practice and being present and being with yourself and working through these emotions that are intense, it gets to get transmuted. And like you said, Eckhart was mentioning how it's energy, like these things are energy. And seems like meditation is like a higher elevated medication.
Meditation as medication?
That should have been the title.
That could be the title of our next. I'm making a film about this called Tantra Healer. That's pretty awesome.
Wow. Amazing. It's so cool how like these tools can help us in so many ways than what is like, and they may say that, oh, you can be able to work through whatever these energies, emotions, but like this concrete niche information, like Jeff was dealing with bipolar and he did some yoga, did this practice, and it actually allowed him to shift from whoever the prescriber was told him was the path for him to do. Like, take this medication, this is what you got to do. And he allowed himself to find a different solution, a higher solution, and allowed him to connect to himself and transmute this intense energy that was going on.
Yeah.
Makes me curious too, because like from not only just from the video, but also hearing from Jeff, like bipolar disorder. What is that? What is the essence of bipolar disorder?
Do we want clinical definition from dictionary.com?
No, we could. Yeah, that'd be cool.
All right, let's see. Let's see what we get, because
I'm very interested in this.
Oh, you're going for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm very interested. I never like read the full definition of it. It says bipolar disorder, a disorder associated with episodes of mood swings ranging from depressive lows to manic highs. The exact cause of bipolar disorder isn't known, but a combination of genetics, environment, and altered brain structure and chemistry may play a role. Interesting. From this one, I'm like, geez, if like this term, like, dang, I had episodes with this, like the mood swings and depression and going through these waves. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Seems like it's like explaining life.
That is interesting.
Yeah, it's like life. So like in life, we have the ups and downs of life, the experiences, and some gets us very, very excited, very happy, and then some gets us very hurt and very upset. And we can go into a potential depression from stuff that we experience in life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the life experiences, they happen, but then it's like, okay, here's what life gave us. How are we going to handle this now, what life gave us?
Right. Using the resources and the tools that you already have.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. All right, here we go.
Okay.
So how do you feel right now?
A lot better.
Now, are you at any particular cycle of now, or are you in a neutral space now?
No, I'm actually in one of my longest lasting neutral phases ever.
Oh, well. Of course, in the neutral phase, then the real you shines through as it does right now. So, and that's wonderful. So, I believe being here also has helped, because here, but just by having been here, presence power has grown. And that's really what you need, because if presence power in you, so to speak, is strong enough, it can be the place in which you can be anchored when these two movements come. You need a deep anchor within yourself, because the two movements have an enormous pull, as you know. And without the anchor, there's no hope of you. They pull you every time this way or that way. But the presence should become strong enough in you, and maybe very soon, for you to not need the medication anymore. But you don't do it. Always do it with guidance. Don't just go off. And you may be surprised how deep your presence already is. So I do hope we'll have another retreat in a year's time or so, and you will come back and let us know how you're doing.
That would be amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
His tone is just so like chill. It just stays the same way. Like he just flows.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Jeff says, to me, it's about having a connection with divine truth and resonating out of my body like an ethereal being. Medication brings me into my body, but I lose every truth of who I know myself to be. And tantric yoga brings me into my body, an explanation to the awareness that I'm attuned to.
Yeah. Wow.
It was deep.
Yeah. And this was good right there. The presence. Like Ekhart Tolle, that's all he is. He's the now. And that's how he shows up in the presence. And then the presence is like what is here in the presence. Be observant, not judge it. Allow what's here in the moment to show up and to just be with it. But also with that awareness, knowing that you're bigger than whatever's showing up. And what can happen with emotions, and we all have done it in our own life journey, is emotions can take us over to the point of like just being consumed by it and feeling there's no way out and being in this bubble of it and forgetting that we're actually are bigger than that emotion. We are the awareness experiencing whatever the emotion is. And then you see it out there a lot of times out there. It's pumped that these things are wrong. Like depression is bad and anger is bad, all these different things. And we try to find ways to stop ourselves from feeling depressed, feeling sad, feeling angry, feeling stress, anxiety. And the essence of that, try to stop ourselves from feeling how we are in the moment. And it's all beautiful, and it's just a moment too. But what can happen is when we think something is a problem, we try to find ways of trying to solve it, to figure it out. Or
Well, I mean, look at the words that are used. You know, if someone calls it an illness, what do you do with an illness?
you try to suppress it or cure it. Well, not cure it, but try to suppress it and stop it. Well, with medication, it tries to, what's it called? Like suppress, to stop the symptoms.
Right.
Not go down to the root and to be able to heal it and transmute it, which like meditation and spiritual practices can do. That was it.
that was a bit of a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. And you know, I'm an advocate for a person doing what they feel they need in the moment as well. So Jeff, same here. It's been about 3 years, and before that, you know, I had to make a choice. You know, do I have the tools and the resources to handle this without medication? Do I have the tools and resources and support systems set up, you know, for me to deal with this in a different way? Or is medication and, you know, working with a therapist the best route that I know of in the moment? And those were the tools that I had. So I made that choice. And it was a good decades journey or two. And it was a journey indeed to actually wean off the medications. But that doesn't mean that just because the medications go away, you know, that is one victory. And there's still things to deal with after that. Jeff says medication is to numb you. Breathwork, meditation, and kriyas shines a light on who you are in this reality and your soul prints and in your divine truth, or whatever practice your soul resonates to.
Yeah. And I like that end part. Whatever practice your soul resonates to. How much is that actually being put out there of finding what resonates with your soul? What's a lot, or what's out there a lot, is being told you need to do this. This is what you should do. This is the right way of doing it. And there's a plethora of different tools and things out there. Some of them are going to suppress, but some of them are going to be able to help you to be able to shed light, as Jeff mentioned, shed light on who you are, shed light on what is really going on with you. And for myself, that 180 for me, because I was dealing with emotions and I was dealing with my own stuff as well and going through it. Never took like the medications, like the prescribed medications, but I had another medication that I went through for not wanting to be present with all the pain and stuff I have pretty much added on to myself for my whole life. And my medication: excessive drugs, excessive alcohol, excessive overindulgence on food, excessive people's pleasing, excessive sex. These external things, so that way I wasn't able to feel my pain or even take accountability for how I was showing up. And luckily for me, my catalyst that helped me to make the 180 was experience with plant medicine. That was the first time that I got to shed light and awareness to myself in a different way, but also for those of you out there who have taken psychedelics before, there's no running away. There's no like, oh, I'm gonna take a look at this and I'm gonna go. It's like, no, man, the boat has shifted. The boat is going. You got to go. And from there, it led to meditation, being with what is, bringing awareness to what I am, and went through the journey of judging myself for how I was, judging others for how they treated me, because I had this egoic expectation on how my life should have been differently than what it was. And the more that I still do it, the more that I actually had a meditation practice of bringing awareness and being present with all that stuff and accepting it, it started to just be able to transmute. And that inner health that I started to work on started to shift the mental aspect of stuff, the new information, because we take the information on from what happened to us before, and we can still have that belief and still live our life in the present moment with those belief and information.
Jeff says, Mother Gaia supplies all the nutrients your body needs. There are studies of plant medicines curing depression.
Yeah, it is. And what I feel with the plant medicine and with any practice, spiritual practice, it just shows you what you're capable of. We all need the reminder sometimes of just how powerful and infinite we are, and what these things do is a tool that allows us to get through those limiting beliefs from our experiences and be in the moment fully and get to see ourselves for what we truly are. But then from there, you have to integrate that. And the integration is from that mountaintop that you reach, going back down to reality where you're at, with that vision of the mountaintop, and allowing yourself to start climbing up that mountain.
Right. And just imagine being on a suppressive medication for so long, and then within months being without that medication at all, where regular life is like a psychedelic experience, because previously all of those senses were numbed. And then if you want to add on top of that things like being an empath, and you know what's interesting for me, I have to admit that it's kind of triggering when I hear some people say that being an empath is bullshit. Because to me, it is a shock to the nervous system after being in a state of numbness for so long. It's like, well, how do you manage all of those emotions? How do you manage that stimulus? Is there a handbook? Is there a guide? Is there a class for that? Oh, by the way, you also have to be a normal functioning person in society. And if you're at a job, or, if you are among people, a lot in your environment, and you don't have that time to really create that compass for yourself internally before you engage in that environment again, things can get kind of wonky. There may be a wobble here and there. There may be a need for solitude, that may not be understood by others. There's a lot that can be thought about and contemplated from that particular perspective. And I think that Mental Health Awareness Month is a great opportunity to just think about that, to think about the other people that are in our circles and what they're dealing with. Are we really asking people to stuff their emotions so that they can be present to us in our relationship with them?
Yeah,
that's kind of selfish.
Kind of narcissistic. Let's call it that. Call a spade a spade. Yeah. Isn't that so interesting how we have such, or we expect somebody else to show up for us, and like you say, that way of like, wait a second, like I don't care what you're dealing with right now. You need to be here for me because I'm going through my own stuff. And when has it been taught? Like, hold on, like be with yourself first, and if you can be with yourself and really be there, because deep down, that's what you want. You want yourself to be there for yourself. And with these experiences that we have with these emotions and what happens in life with the suppression, and I came with this with the meditation and bringing more awareness to my own way of living, and I know it's going to resonate with more people as well, is when we have these emotions that are happening, it's a part of ourselves from another experience that we had in life that just wants to get some love, this one to get some attention out there. But then the thing about it, oh no, I'm not gonna do it with you right now. I'm gonna do this or do this and do this. And we're hurting our inner child. That part of us that just wants some attention. It wants that friend in our life. It wants that lover that we may have never gotten in a relationship, that person that we had an expectation for in a previous relationship that didn't meet that expectation, and we got that bitterness towards that person from the past relationship. But deep down, the bitterness is you're not giving yourself the love that you are craving. It's an endless loop for all this stuff to reach our external things to make us feel these certain ways internally. Where they do that at? Why is this like it? When I had that aha moment, I'm like, wow, I rely on something outside of me to make me feel something inside of me. How does that work? And I feel, and like, this is for me, I feel like I'm giving my power, my internal power away for this person who I don't even know what you're dealing with in your life, but I need you here because I have this belief that I need to rely on you to make me feel complete, make me feel loved, make me feel accepted, make me feel like I'm worth something. And then when it doesn't happen, you feel devastated. You feel upset.
There's that conversation, right? For a person who understands those dynamics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what about a person who just doesn't know? A person who has never had that access to themselves in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, well, just access your own love. Just do it. But they've never experienced that before.
That's a great first step of being authentic in the moment. I never experienced that love. Being honest with that. Is it something that you want to experience? Is it something that you deeply want to experience, that love with yourself? And the cool thing about that is we're never alone. And I get to use it this time because now I remember the higher power of your understanding, realizing that there's something bigger that has our back. There's something bigger than us that created each and every one of us uniquely, and it's always here with us because it's everywhere. But even just asking, having that conversation, having that vulnerable conversation with somebody. I know that like it could be potentially tough to do that because maybe you've done it before and the person judged you, the person shamed you for doing that, for being that vulnerable out there. Maybe it wasn't welcome because you being vulnerable to somebody who wasn't ready to be vulnerable is very triggering.
Think about it. I like to think about it in different ways, right?
I like that. Go ahead.
So imagine that you're talking to someone who is not very familiar with spirituality.
Yeah.
And you just go up to them and they're like, oh, I have this problem. And you're like, oh wow, I know the answer. And you're like, okay, all you have to do
Oh no.
is just astral project to this quadrant of the quantum field and access this and do that and talk to this ascended master while you're there and then come back and you're going to be fine. And they're going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? And as simple as this language is that you're using right now, you know, be with your inner child, access the love that you are, you know, understand that you are never alone and that you're with a higher power. Those simple words can sound like that to someone.
Like trigonometry to a kid.
Exactly.
Yeah. But even just thinking about that, like the kid and the inner child, I can even simplify it even more. Like the inner child of us right now, we are kids, still that kid, but we're in more older bodysuits right now. We're having that. But what happened with these emotions, just think of it, because our inner child is us, it's our child. But like, think about it as if a kid came up to you and a kid was saying like, oh, I'm very upset and sad right now. What would you do to that kid?
Exactly. That's exactly where I'm going. That the words that you're talking about, like using, you know, like maybe someone is, you know, trying to describe, you know, what it is that you do in a situation, let's say with someone who has like extreme anxiety, right? It's like the words may not help, but you know what might?
Presence.
Demonstrating it.
Yeah. Presence in the moment too. Is having a conversation. There's so much power of actually just being able to have a conversation with somebody in the present moment for what is going on, and to be able to just let it out, because letting it out, it allows the awareness to show up. And it's like, for me, when I'm having conversations with people who may be dealing with something, I don't tell you what to do.
Right.
I'm just here. I'm here. But what usually just happens when people let it out is they let out what's happening, but they also let out the solution of what they can do for it, because they're present to what's happening right now. And by them being present to what's happening within them, they're connected to their soul, like fully in there with their soul.
Go ahead.
No, I was about to say, it's something like, yeah, I want to break up this relationship, but like that type of thing.
Thinking about what the woman said in the video, she said that when she's in one state, she has complete amnesia to what it's like in the other state. And it really speaks to me to, again, that thing that we're talking about, and that's not having access to it in the moment. And that demonstration of compassion, that demonstration of unconditional love could be the catalyst. I like that word, Jeff. You know, that really alchemizes that situation. Jeff says that there's a new normal being defined, and this conversation is a beautiful catalyst. Thank you for shining a light. Thank you for being a part of the conversation.
Thank you. And it's like, and this is what it's all about, having these conversations. And you made a valid point. Maybe we should do some videos of really bringing it down to a way that people can relate to it even more for where they're at in the moment. But what I'm feeling of just saying is there is a different way for the way that you're doing stuff. There's always a different route for it, especially if it's not serving you, meaning like you don't like what is happening right now or the results that you're getting or whatever it may be. There's always another way of being able to be with and work through this stuff. And the number one thing, ask for help. Help me. Help. It's 4-letter word that is very vulnerable, and also it can be very challenging for some to actually ask for help, because there's a plethora abundance of support out there in all different ways. Therapy, coach, yoga, all these different stuff that we can be able to use to be able to work through. But it all starts, and I'm sure for yourself, for Jeff, or anybody who made that shift, it all starts with that will and that desire to make that shift, because that's the seed that starts it. And the universe has our back. The universe, higher power, the understanding, all the time.
Yeah.
And it can be challenging sometimes. We can slip up sometimes as we're doing it. It's like going to the gym. We're working out. It's going to be intense. It's going to be sore in the beginning, but we're going to keep working our muscles out there and keep getting better and keep getting better. But the thing about it too is give yourself permission as you're working that you may potentially slip and fall, but it's like a baby as well, learning how to crawl, learning how to walk. The baby's going to fall a couple of times, going to stumble. But what does the baby do? Baby gets back up. Baby starts walking. And the baby eventually walks, baby eventually runs, but it takes like the practice, repetition, and receiving the help. And this is like the intention of our community here, of showing or having that helpful support, but also there's a abundance of support out there. And that's the cool thing about these times too, is if you don't know how to do something, at the snap of your finger, you can find someone on Google, on YouTube, who has went through the same thing you have went through and actually was able to find a way out of it. And by seeing somebody who actually can find a way out of it, you know that it's possible. And by knowing that it's possible because this person did it, now embody that it is possible for you as well.
Well said.
Are we done?
We can be.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. This was a really intense, deep, and helpful conversation. I appreciate all of you.
Thank you. And until next time, stay magical.